Jackpot, also known as Grand Death Lotto before it was changed, is an action comedy starring Awkwafina and John Cena. This one popped up on Amazon Prime and it looked okay. It's directed by Paul Feig, and I really like Paul Feig. He's got a lot more hits than misses. I didn't actually watch his last two films. He did a young adult novel adaptation called The School for Good and Evil or something on Netflix, and rom-com called Last Christmas, and I really like The Simple Favor. I think he's doing a sequel to that one. But I don't really dig the Ghostbusters remake, but I do love all of his other films. Like Bridesmaids is great, so is Spy, The Heat. You know, he didn't write The Heat, but he's got more hits than misses is what I'm saying. And this one's not written by him, though. It's written by Rob Yescombe, so I lowered my expectations for this, but this movie is a pretty film, very middling film that just doesn't really uses its concept to its fullest extent. This one takes place in a sort of near-future dystopian Los Angeles. California, the state, wants money, so they created a sort of alternate Powerball instead of just, you know, billions of dollars for up for grabs. It's billions of dollars, and if you kill the winner within 24 hours, you can legally take the prize, and you won't get charged for murder. It's legal murder, kind of like The Purge. So the film's opening is a man running around, and he's really good at fighting. He's taking down all these guys, but he ends up losing, and someone else gets the money. So our main focus is Katie Kim. She's a young woman who wants to be an actress. She was a kid actress, and she moves back to Los Angeles with nothing but $600 and a good luck charm from her mom. And she gets a shitty Airbnb while she's in town to do some auditions. She accidentally enters the lottery just by thumbprinting. I guess in the future you can just buy stuff or enter things by thumbprinting stuff now. It's really high tech. And she doesn't know this, but after bombing the audition, she wins the lottery. She will win $3.6 billion, and she does not know what that is. So everyone in the audition room starts trying to kill her, and since she has some stage fighting lessons, she's able to at least defend herself a little bit, but all the different businesses in that studio start trying to kill her. However, she's rescued by the burly and stoic Noel. Noel Cassidy is like a freelance bodyguard, I guess, of sorts. And he shows up and starts beating up the people that are trying to kill her, offers her his services for 10% if she thumbprints his iPad or little phone thingy. So she agrees because she doesn't want to get killed. And this movie gets really repetitive. I think the main thing that this movie was lacking was a sharper edge, a sharper satire. This is supposed to be a dystopian sci-fi movie. It does have some cool technology in it, but not much. Like, besides the thumbprint stuff and like the lottery stuff, it's not really that much of a sci-fi concept. And I think this movie would have been a lot more interesting if it sort of gleefully welcomed violence. Instead, this movie, it's not rated PG-13, I don't think, but it's going for like a goofy sort of, everyone's trying to stab you, but you just punch them in the face and then they go down and they keep coming after you. And it gets repetitive and boring after a while. They introduce like all these like gangs of people, like there's like chefs, they grab knives off the rack and right in the middle of their work day instead of booking the day off for Lottery Day. Lottery Day happens every month, so there's 12 a year, and they keep rolling over somehow. I don't understand how that works, but yeah, so like there's like a tour bus that's chasing them. There's her Airbnb host and her boyfriend keep showing up. There's like just random groups of people. There's a weird mascot, and basically, her identity is sort of given to the public, and she basically has her location given out every 14 minutes via drone. So it's kind of like a chase movie. However, the movie is really just feels really weird. First off, production values. It doesn't feel like a dystopian Los Angeles. It just feels like normal Los Angeles. Everything's very clean. There's no... there's like a montage where they show crimes happening while she's on the bus, and she's just like, what's going on? And they could have, made it funny by making it look like a really grubby, gross LA, which there probably is, but it's a very clean looking LA, and it just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's taking place in any alternate sort of place. And also the action sequences are very just like stagey. There's like a fight scene where she's fighting a bunch of people in a dojo or a karate school or something, and she's just sort of like barely surviving, but the camera keeps cutting away, and it feels really choreographed, and just, you know, it just doesn't feel real because it's like a comedy, so it's trying not to be too hard, but it doesn't feel like this is a good stunt piece or this is a great action set piece. I think the main like weakness of the film is that it's just not funny. It's supposed to be an action comedy. It doesn't deliver great stunts or fight sequences, and it's just not very funny in terms of just the jokes, and it's not very funny in physical humor. Well, you know, you'd think a movie like this would have people accidentally throw knives at each other or accidentally stab each other, or, you know, lots of peak physical comedy like falling over, knocking people over, things like that. But the movie just doesn't have any of that. It's just sort of chase, you know, get away, you know, and then move on to the next set piece. And they throw in a little bit of character development in there. I mean, there's plenty for Katie Kim and some for Noel as they sort of bond. She doesn't want to trust him because everyone wants to kill her, but he's like a genuinely good guy that just wants to help her leave the city and exit the game and get no money, and she doesn't believe him. And then they introduce more characters. The movie gets a little bit more interesting as it goes on, but I just feel like this movie definitely could have been a more raucous time if they made it hard R and made it so that you can kill your attackers too, as long as it's self-defense. And, you know, if people accidentally stab each other, then they're also free. Make it like a full-on Purge-like mission. Because the way the movie's set up, Noel is kind of a nice guy, so he doesn't want to grievously injure anyone who's trying to kill her, because it's part of the game. And, yeah, the movie is just all right. I mean, it just doesn't feel like a realized, you know, concept. And the concept of people trying to kill you because you win the lottery that sounds like a zany concept, but it doesn't maximize the potential by having it feel like a really dystopian play. They should have had like soup lines in the beginning. They should have had like lots of homelessness, and then, you know, if you buy this ticket, you know, maybe even if it costs $1, like I don't know how much Powerball costs, but they could have made it like the abject poverty of the future makes everyone want to essentially play this lottery. Or they could have, you know, scaled it down. Instead of having like a large crowd of people chasing her, they could just had one or two, and she doesn't really know who's after her because, you know, she doesn't know who plays the lottery. But either way, the movie just feels like a wasted opportunity. I mean, John Cena's there. He's a big man. You can do lots of fun stunts and have him do more physical comedy and more things, but it's just not, he's not utilized very well. And, you know, Awkwafina's fine as the every woman who's just trying to survive. And the two of them have some chemistry, but the movie just has not a lot going for it. There's a couple of funny sequences. There's a great sequence in a mansion with Machine Gun Kelly playing himself. Katie Kim's Airbnb host is very funny, and nothing else. I mean, in fact, the bloopers at the end of the movie were funnier than the movie itself. There's a lot of riffing and improv, I guess. So overall, Jackpot is just an okay film. You know, it's forgettable, it's watchable, but definitely could have been a lot better with the budget and everything. And I just feel like this is kind of like just a ho-hum forgettable action comedy that's not that funny or not that well directed. So I give Jackpot a 3 out of 10.